Hello everyone. In this class we'll learn how to find remainders and this is a very important topic for CAT. So first we'll look into a concept which will help you a lot in finding remainders. In this we see how to find the number of numbers that are co-prime to a given number. For example, how many numbers are less than and co-prime to a number, say 36. Okay, so how many numbers are less than and co-prime to 36? Now 36 has two prime factors, 2 and 3. So we need to find all the numbers that are less than 36 and which are not divisible by either 2 or 3. How many such numbers are there? What are those numbers? 1, 2 can't be, 3 can't be, 4, then next would be 5, next would be 7, then 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 25, 29, 31, 35. So there are a total of 12 numbers. Now since this 36 is a small number, we were able to write down and calculate. But there is a simple formula using which we can find how many numbers are less than and co-prime to any given number n. Now to find this, there is a formula phi of n. To find the number of numbers that are less than and co-prime to n, we have to calculate phi n. It is denoted by phi n. Now if n is some prime to the power a, prime to the power b, prime to the power c, then phi of n is given by n 1 minus 1 by p1, 1 minus 1 by p2, 1 minus 1 by p3. Now this is the formula using which we can calculate phi n. Now for this example, since n is 36, now this 36 can be written as 2 square, 3 square. Now hence phi of 36 is equal to 36, 1 minus 1 by 2, 1 minus 1 by 3, and this gives 12 as we found out earlier. Now if you have to calculate, now let's take an example how to use this. We have to calculate the numbers less than 600 which are not divisible by 2, 3 or 5. All numbers that are less than 600 and not divisible by 2, 3 or 5. Now since 600 has three prime factors, 2, 3 and 5, we have to calculate all the numbers that are less than and co-prime to 600. Hence the number of numbers can be easily calculated as phi of 600, which will be equal to 600 into 1 minus half, 1 minus 1 by 3 and 1 minus 1 by 5. This will give you 160. So this will be the number of numbers less than 600 and not divisible by 2, 3 or 5. Now since 600 has all these three factors, it is easier to calculate. What if it is not a factor? For example, if we have to calculate all the numbers that are less than 500 and not divisible by 2, 3 or 5. All the number of numbers that are less than 500 and not divisible by 2, 3 or 5. Now 500 does not have a prime factor 3. So what we do is that we will calculate the nearest number that has all these three prime factors. In this case it will be 510. So what we do now is calculate phi of 510 considering only these three. 17 will also be a factor of 510, but since we have to calculate only not divisible by 2, 3 and 5, we will take only these three factors. Now this will give you 136. Now what we have done is we have taken certain numbers in between 500 and 510 which are not divisible by either 2 or 3 or 5. and that is included in this 136. So we need to remove that. How do we do? What all numbers have we included? 503 and 509. These are the two numbers that we have included between 500 and 510, which is not divisible by either 2, 3 or 5. Hence, the correct answer is 136 minus 2, that is 134. So now this is how we, and also now since we are touching on phi n, there is a important, now as we saw, for what were the numbers less than and co-prime to 36? 1, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 25, 29, 31 and 35. Now we see that 1 and 35 adds up to 36, 5 and 31 adds up to 36, 7 and 29 adds up to 36, 25 and 11 adds up to 36, 13 and 23 adds up to 36, and 17 and 19 adds up to 36. Hence we see that all these numbers, they always, phi of n is always even, and all these numbers exist in pairs. Hence the summation of these numbers, if we denote it as summation of phi n, the summation of these numbers is phi n by 2, that is the total number of pairs, into n, that is the sum. That is, in this case it will be, since there are 12 numbers, 6 pairs into each pair individually is 36. Hence it is 216. Now this concept can be used in solving questions. Like, let's take an example. How many pairs of co-prime numbers x and y exist such that x plus y is equal to 100? Now if we have to calculate how many pairs of co-prime numbers x and y exist such that x plus y is 100. So in this case, since x and y are co-prime, they are also co-prime to 100. That's what we have to realize. Just like the previous, everyone added to 36, what we can say is that phi of 100, now all the phi of hundreds, they are co-prime to each other and they add up to 100. So that is what, those are the numbers that add up to 100. Hence the answer will be phi of 100, which will be given by 100 into 1 minus half to 1 minus 1 by 5, as 2 and 5 are the only prime factors, and this will give you 100 into 1 by 2 into 4 by 5, that is 40. Okay, so now once we know this concept of phi n, let's move on to how to find remainders. Now suppose there is a number 18 into 4 into 5. Now what is 18 into 4 into 5? It will be 360, right? Now suppose we have to calculate the remainder of 18 into 4 into 5 by, what is the remainder when this is divided by 7? So it is simple, 360 by 7, and this will give you 3 as remainder. Remainder is 3. Now in case you see 18 by 7, 4 by 7, 5 by 7. If you calculate the 3 remainders individually, this will give a remainder of 4, this will give a remainder of 4, this will give a remainder of 5. If you multiply these, it will give you 80. The remainder of 80 by 7 is 3, right? Hence we see that if we are having a multiplication sort of thing, then instead of multiplying and then finding the remainder, it is easier, it is also correct if we find the remainder of individuals with the divisor and then multiply. Like for example, now in this question it might not seem as simple, but in questions, suppose there is a question, what is the remainder when 1998 into 1999 into 2000 is divided by 7? Now if you go about multiplying these three, it's very difficult to do it. So what we do is, we find the remainder of 1998 by 7 into the remainder of 1999 by 7 and the remainder of 2000 by 7. So instead of going for the complete multiplication, we find individually. What is the remainder? In this case it is 3, in this case it is 4, in this case it is 5. Now 5 into 4, 20, 20 into 4 is 3, 60. So the remainder is of 60 by 7, that is 4. So 4 is the remainder and this complete number is divided by 7. Okay. Now let's take another example. What is the remainder of 298 to the power 10 by 7? So what is the remainder when 298 to the power 10 is divided by 7? We see that what is the remainder when 298 is divided by 7? We can write it as the remainder of this into remainder of this 10 times. Therefore this will give you a remainder of 4. That is, you can say 4 to the power 10 by 7. The remainder of 4 to the power 10 by 7 is the answer. Now one simple way of doing this is you find a power of 4 which will give you 1 as a remainder when divided by 7. Like in this case, 4 cube by 7, the remainder of 4 cube by 7 is 1. Now 4 cube is 64, 64 by 7 will give you a remainder of 1. Therefore, what you can do is 4 to the power 10 by 7 you can rewrite as 4 cube, 4 cube, 4 cube, 4 by 7. Now this will give a remainder of 1, this will give a remainder of 1, this will give a remainder of 1, and this will give a remainder 4. So the answer is 4. Now as simple as this, we have calculated the remainder. Now in case if the power goes up, say it is 298 to the power 200 when divided by 7, you carry the similar approach. It will be 4 to the power 200 when divided by 7. This you can write 4 cube by 7 since gives 1, 4 cube 66 times, and then 4 square. Now the remainder of 4, this will give 1, the remainder of 4 square when divided by 7 is 2, so the answer is 2, right? So now the thing is, how do we calculate what power of a number when divided by another number will give you 1 as a remainder? So here we see that if a and n are co-prime to each other, then a to the power phi of n, which we just learned how to calculate phi of n, when divided by n will give you a remainder 1. This is the formula. Now if a and n are co-prime to each other, then a to the power phi of n when divided by n will give you a remainder of 1. For example, now if n is 13, phi of n is 12. Since 13 is a prime number, phi of n is 12. How do we calculate? 13 into 1 minus 1 by 13, since 13 is the only factor, only prime factor. So you will get phi of n is 12. Therefore, 11 to the power 12 by 13, or 7 to the power 12 by 13, or 5 to the power 12 by 13, or 8 to the power 12 by 13, or anything of this sort will give you a remainder of 1. Since these two numbers are co-prime to each other, and a to the power phi of n when divided by n will give you a remainder 1, right? For example, let's take another thing. If n is equal to 24, now phi of 24 is equal to 8. Okay, so any number, say 13 to the power 8 when divided by 24 will give you a remainder of 1. If n is 7, then phi of 7 is equal to 6. Therefore, any number, say 31 to the power 6 when divided by 7 will give you a remainder of 1. So the important thing is that this number and this number, both of these should be co-prime to each other, and then we can say that a to the power phi of n when divided by n will give you a remainder of 1. Okay. Now for a question like what is the remainder when 5 to the power 101 is divided by 7? Now how do we calculate which power of 5 will give you a remainder of 1 when divided by 7? It is simple now. Phi of 7 is equal to 6. Since 5 and 7 are co-prime to each other, 5 to the power 6 when divided by 7 will give you a remainder of 1, right? So this we can rewrite as 5 to the power 6 16 times and 5 to the power 5. All these will give a remainder of 1. So only we have to calculate 5 to the power 5 by 7. The remainder of 5 to the power 5 by 7. This you can break it as 5 into 5 square into 5 square. Now the remainder of 5 with 7 is 5. 5 square with 7 is 4. 5 square is 7 is again 4. Now 5 4 20. 24 80. 80 with 7 will give you a remainder of 3. So the answer of this is 3. So now this is how we can calculate the remainders very easily using the concept of phi n, and also using a simple concept that instead of multiplying we can go about individually calculating the remainders and then multiplying it, as we have done in the entire lecture. So thank you and keep watching collegepedia.in for more lectures.